Good morning, everyone. Child Psychology, module number 17. My name is Nadeem Sikander. dr.nsikander@gmail.com is my email address. We are going to be looking at the module number 17. Module number 17 is about self-esteem and confidence. And of course, this is about child psychology, so it's all related to the children. In what we have is basically 5 objectives here. We'll be looking at self-esteem and confidence, what that is, healthy and unhealthy form of self-esteem, methods actually that we can use to improve self-esteem in children and build their confidence, building self-esteem in toddlers, as well as building self-esteem and confidence in elementary school age children as well. So let's look at the introduction part of it. The healthy self-esteem is used by children as their armor against the challenges they find in the world. Children who know what their strengths and weaknesses tend to have an easier way to deal with them as when it comes to handling the conflicts that they face. These children will smile, they will enjoy life, they will have more realistic and optimistic way of living. But children will, with low self-esteem, and I think it's important for us to know in today's time and age where there's a lot of anxiety and depression and so much that's happening around the lives of children, is that the children with low self-esteem actually will find challenges to be major conflicts, right? So they will find everything to be somewhat of a permanent state. So they will see any issue to be there forever, and that would be an unhealthy situation for them. And this is what we do is, when we build and we work on self-esteem in children, which is the self-worth, is that's when we build the self-esteem and confidence that will turn them into a better future adults. So what is self-esteem? Let's look at that first. Self-esteem is based on the concept of self-worth, right? How much a person values themselves. How much do you value yourself as an adult, if you think about it? And think of it as what was your childhood was like, right? A person's self-esteem can change on a day-to-day basis. But overall, a person's self-esteem develops from infancy, and it keeps developing throughout adulthood. The patterns of self-esteem starts very early in children, and it is much easier to build upon when they become adults. So it is best to improve building the self-esteem in children, so they can do better, they can make better decisions and whatnot. And that's where the caregivers and parents, their role, they play a very important role. Let me share some of the signs of healthy and unhealthy self-esteem in the future slide. So self-esteem ebbs and flows during childhood, and it changes frequently because it is affected by the child's perception and experiences, right? So because it ebbs and flows during the childhood, so and there's a constantly change, it is affected the child's perception and experiences. So what are the signs of healthy self-esteem? So children with healthy self-esteem will enjoy interacting with other children, with other people. They're comfortable in a social setting. They enjoy both independent and group activities. When challenge arises, children with healthy self-esteem will look at finding solution, and they will use discontent without being belittling. But for instance, if a child having a difficulty understanding something, we're talking about children with high self-esteem, they will see a problem and not finding a solution. They would say, I don't understand, right? I don't get it. But the children with low self-esteem, right, or not healthy self-esteem, they will say, I'm stupid, right? You see the difference? One would see that I don't get it. The one would see that's just I am dumb. And this would be an unhealthy self-esteem to say that I'm stupid, because that tells you, because they get to see it as that this is not going to change. Because what I'm not getting in a child's mind is what he or she is trying to say is that I'm never gonna get it, right? But the child with the healthiest self-esteem will say, man, I don't understand, right? So he is seeking answer to what he's not getting. So I think it's important message in this slide. The signs of unhealthy self-esteem. Children with low self-esteem and no confidence usually will not want to try new things and often speak negatively in regards to themselves. It is common for these children to also have low tolerance, right? See how this ties the self-esteem, not being able to not being able to resolve something. They will find this to be something intolerable, and they get frustrated with the situation, and they will wait for someone else to take the lead. Go ahead and you do it. And as if they're always waiting for somebody else to go ahead first. And they're also overly critical of themselves, and they will see small temporary setbacks and intolerable permanent conditions, right? So now we know that, we wanted to make sure that the children, and we'll talk a little bit about how to build the self-esteem in children, because it's impacting them in a very early age in their lives. So let's look at the methods to improve self-esteem and confidence in children. Obviously, this is somewhat of a common sense type of information, but I think a low self-esteem and confidence level can set children up for a lifetime of issues. So it is important for parents and caregivers to step in as soon as they can to improve the situation. Here are some of the tips that parents and caregivers can use to improve self-esteem and confidence in children. So I'll share that in the next few slides. Step number one, it's important to know that you want to stop overpraising them. Overpraising can do more harm to children than good. Self-esteem comes from a child feeling secure and loved, but also from being competent. Being competent or being good at something takes effort. But a person cannot praise another into being competent, right? Instead, it is up to the individual. So when a parent or a caregiver overpraises the child, they lower the bar, so to speak, and it tells them that it is okay not to push themselves, right? So you can't do that because you're lacking to see what is required for a child to do something, and you're overpraising regardless. You don't want to do that. You want to see what needs to be done, how the child is doing it, and you have to fill that gap with the right amount of praise as for him to, and I'll share that. So additionally, too much praising can lead to child to believe that they are perfect, for example, right? Anything they do, they're perfect. They fail, they're perfect. They're passing, they're perfect. They're doing well, they're perfect. They're not doing well, they're perfect. That is not the right way to help children build self-esteem. And that must meet, and we don't want to show them that they must meet impossible standard of being perfect all the time. So neither you want to set a standard that they need to be perfect all the time, nor you want to neglect the part where they need to be told, okay, that's where you did well, but that's where you didn't do too well, right? So how do we fill that gap is what the self-esteem building part comes in. Allow a child to take risks, for example. Like Jordan Peterson says that allow your children to do dangerous things carefully. So healthy risk can be good for self-esteem, as children need to take chances. make their own choices, and then take responsibility for those choices. Too many parents will try to rescue their child from failing. No, don't do that, because it sends a very wrong message. Instead, when the children are able to take risks, they deal with any consequences of those risks. So they will feel a sense of accomplishment when they do well, and they will ultimately help to improve themselves, building their own confidence. So, a child enters in a classroom late, and and gets you get a feedback. A child enters in a classroom a little late, and for that, there is something comes from a teacher. Don't tell the child that, why did you get that remark? Tell them, look, you need to be there on time, right? It's not really. So you want to make sure you are providing them the information that they need to overcome the challenge, right? Maybe the child is hanging around in the hallway too much, or spending too much time here and there instead of getting to the class where he or she needs to go. Allow children to make choices for themselves. When a child is allowed to make their own choices, they will feel more powerful and in control of their lives. Experts, in this field, they say that the children as young as 2 years of age can start to make their own choices. Can you imagine that? And they are cognitively advanced enough to realize that their choices can have consequences. So allow them to make choices for themselves. Give them opportunities to demonstrate competence. Parents and caregivers can also give children the opportunity to demonstrate the competence, what they have accomplished. One way to do that is to ask them, to help around the house, and praise them for doing a good job. Praise them for doing a good job. Do not praise them of who they are. You want to be objective, not subjective, right? So you want to make sure that you're talking about the work that they're doing. They've done a good job. Even a toddler can help with the setting a table, cooking, and helping, making a bed, so on and so forth. Allow them to do these chores at home. So from a very young age, they know, when you're making a bed, show them how to make a bed, right? Show them how to set pillows, how to push and pull, comforter, and how to fold things. And that's where you want to teach children how to build that. Encourage children to pursue interests. A child's self-esteem and confidence level will rise when they accomplish tasks. And one of the best way to do this is for parents is to allow children to take on a task that they have an interest in. It could be anything that they wanted to do. This could be anything from doing, for example, laps in the pool, or sit in a video game, a level, or anything that will help child feel a sense of accomplishment. Praise a child when they fail. So inevitably, all children, they will fail at some point, but it is important for adults to, in their lives, to let them know it's okay to fail sometimes. Key word is sometimes, right? You don't want to build a child on failures to say it's okay to fail all the time. So parents, for instance, should make sure their children know that they still love them, and they still feel and care for them, even if they fail, right? So your child's supposed to get an A, got an B in the test. That's all right. I mean, you can try it better. Maybe you want to spend a little bit more time. Maybe you want to watch less of the TV and more spending time when the test dates are, when the midterms are there. But the failure shouldn't. Once again, the failure should not overshadow all of the good that they do either, right? Help children make attainable goals. Finally, parents should make sure that the children have goals that are attainable. Think of SMART goals. For instance, a child might have a goal for playing junior NFL, but this is not attainable for most of the children. Instead, help child make a goal to, for example, playing for a school team or a junior league somewhere in the town. So these, we just discussed some of the tips of building self-esteem. Building self-esteem and confidence by age. So the future slides will break down, age appropriate building self-esteem. Let's look at the babies. As you have read if you watch my previous modules, with 16 modules that I delivered, they're all available in YouTube. Newborns and young children do not see themselves as being an individual, right? Babies, which means they do not have the sense of self-esteem because they don't know themselves at this point. However, it is possible to lay out the framework for healthy self-esteem as the child grows by holding the baby gently, giving a lot of cuddles and smiles and responding when the baby is crying, and so on and so forth. Involving yourself in child's general gestures as they're growing are also setting up or laying out the framework for the future self-esteem. Now, look at the toddlers. Toddlers are able to have a much more deeper sense of self-confidence, what confidence and self-esteem are, even if they don't realize it. So the toddler age don't necessarily realize it, but they do have a deeper sense. Children at this age will want to make decisions on their own, and it is a good idea for parents to allow them to do so. Of course, they should only be making age-appropriate decisions, such as which hat to wear or what toy he or she wants to play with. Here are some of the specific ways that the parents can help a toddler build up their self-esteem. Let the child know that he or she is special, valued, and smart or clever. Tell the child that he or she is doing well. Let the child make their own reasonable decision. For instance, let the child decide if they want a jam or on their toast or not. This gives the sense of control, which help them develop confidence. Allow the child to say no. Toddlers should be learning to assert themselves. If the toddler, for example, refuses to wear a jacket and it's cold outside, the parent should allow the child for this to happen. This teaches them the effects and gives them the sense that they are in control. Of course, you have to monitor the situation. If outside is freezing and child feels that it's cold and you're already prepared with a plan B that the jacket is available for the child to put on. Coach toddlers when they have to deal with tricky situations, right? Coaching them. For instance, a toddler might find it difficult to share something with others, right? So the parent might have to step in and encourage the child to share, teach them how to share. Preschoolers. So we talked about toddlers, and now we are going into the preschool age. By the time, the preschooler age, where they are at the age when they are ready for schooling at the pre-K 3 or pre-K 4 age, they're attending preschool, they will be fully aware of their mind and body, which belongs to them. Now they know that this body is theirs, and the mind that they have is also theirs. Most children cope with being away from their parents at this point because they know that they're going to be loved and cared by others, and they are safe. They also often compare themselves with peers, as they will ask if they are best, fastest, biggest when they are in an activity involving others. So the children at this age also get to see themselves that they are advancing. Parents should give these children balanced feedback, such as, I think you are the best. You are the best 3 years old runner that I know of. Or, Josh kicks the ball faster than you, but you run faster than him, right? So that's sort of complimenting that. This will give the children a sense of pride, but also send the message that others are important as well. Elementary school children. During elementary age, children will fully start comparing themselves with their classmates, which can have a negative effect on their self-esteem. For instance, they might feel as if they are less capable than others, and new rules or learning new things might be challenged. Let's look at how, here are some of the ways parents can help in that situation. So we're talking about elementary school children. Support children when with their schoolwork, with their school life. Show some interest by asking, how was your day? What do you got for homework? And if he or she needs some help, give them hugs, cuddles, and love them, and talk about their school day. Get involved in the school life. Take part in finding out, build a relationship with the teacher, give the child an opportunity to try new things, and watch out for the signs that are part of any school, pretty much, is if it involves some sort of bullying and learning difficulties that might affect their self-esteem. And you can always talk to child's pediatrician and whatnot. In conclusion, folks, we finished this session, and I like to say that in a nutshell, high self-esteem and confidence often come very easy to young children, okay? But as they begin comparing themselves with others or understanding their sense of self, it gets a bit complicated and tricky. Parents can step in to help their child with self-esteem, but if an adult notices that they are unable to help, then obviously you seek help you can talk to the teacher, pediatrician, school counselor, and whatnot. But in a nutshell, I'll conclude with the final remark is that observe your child to see where the gaps are. Don't overdo it and don't underdo it. So do it as much and seek help if you need to. And, instead of going around trying to figure things out, ask the teacher, ask the counselor, ask the pediatrician, what can I do different? I feel like there is as I mentioned, that, younger children self-esteem is good, but as they're getting older and they're finding new challenges, and now they're able to compare themselves with others, they're going to face challenges that they may need some of your help. Folks, thank you all very much for watching. This ends our module number 17, which is self-esteem and as well as the confidence. So take good care of yourself. We'll see you in module number 18. Thank you.